So we just saw this, right? That the pH nearer to 7 and less than 7 is acid. pH more closer to 0 or 1 is a strong acid, right? When I change the base, if it's more closer to 14 means it's a strong base, and it's more closer to 7 but greater than 7 is a weak base. Now we're going to talk about the everyday life situations and life living organisms who have pH in them, and how this pH of different solutions or different substances affect them. The first is how plants and animals are so sensitive to pH. The fish, okay, the fish which are the aquatic life are very much affected by the pH of the water. Okay, so can you see here the bacteria? Okay, it's more possible for the bacteria to live in a condition. It can live in either conditions, basic or acidic. Plants and algae can also survive, but not in an acidic situation. Catfish, they all have a very, very limited pH range where they can survive. Okay, so you can see here the pH of different, like clownfish is 7.8, that's the pH range. Coral is 7.5, a little bit up and down, 1.5, 0.1, 0.2 up and down is okay. If it turns into 8, coral will start dying off. Salmon is 6, crayfish is 5.5. So what happens is, if the same way our body has a pH range of 7.8, 7 to 7.8, that's all. A little bit less than 7 or more than 7.8 means even if it changes to 6.8 or 7.9, our body will start reacting, and it will go into a drastic situation which will be a life and death situation. Okay, because the pH has to be maintained. Same way, when the rainwater, when rain falls, the rainwater is going to get absorbed with the atmospheric pollutants which are present in the air. They may get mixed with the pollutant. Okay, then when they fall on the earth's surface, they are more acidic because of the pollutant which got mixed with the water. And this pH, if the rainwater pH becomes less than 5.6, then that kind of rainwater is called as acid rain. Sometimes the pollution in the air is really high. So when the rainwater mixes with it, it can happen the rainwater will change into 5.6. A natural normal rainwater is a neutral. Its pH is 7. But if it becomes 5.6, we call it as acid rain. And when such an acid rain water flows into the river, then it will lower the pH of the river water. That means it's going to bring down the pH of the river water below 5. And many fish cannot survive. You can see here, many fish there. So the pH is above 5. That's when they are surviving. Correct? The next, the pH of the soil. It's very important. Can you see in this picture, the person has actually mixed a little bit of soil with the water, and he has added the pH solution indicator, and it's more of a greenish color. It's more of a darker greenish color, means it's basic in nature. Why we need to know the pH of the soil? Because every crop has a specific requirement of a pH of the soil. They can only grow if that particular pH of the soil is maintained. If it is disturbed, then the crop cannot survive. So what happens, every different type of soil is actually tested by a soil department which is assigned by a government. They test the soil and they say whether the soil is alkaline, acidic, neutral, which type of crop is suitable to be grown in this type of soil. Okay, so this is how they do it. So you can see here in the picture, soil pH is very important because it affects the health of the plant. Before a nutrient can be used, plants, they are going to use the pH of the soil. The pH of the soil is going to affect it. So potato, the pH is 4.8 to 6.5. That's the range of a potato. If you want to grow, the soil should have that much pH. For carrot, 5.5 to 7. It's more of acidic and a neutral. Like so mostly all of them are more neutral and in weak acidic pH range is what is suitable for growing vegetables. Same way, I have shown some the pH of wheat or maize is 6 to 7.5. pH of peas is 6 to 7. So the soil should be more nearer to an acidic or a neutral base, not basic. How much acidic and how much neutral is what we have to be very careful in testing it and knowing which type of crop can be grown in. Okay. The next is the pH in our stomach or our digestive tract. HCl, you all know the dilute HCl is released in the stomach. So it's the most acidic region of our digestive system. When it crosses and comes inside the small intestine, alkaline, that is the bile juice and the pancreatic juice, will convert and neutralize the acid dilute HCl released in the stomach into a neutral. So because it is neutralized, so the solution which is in the nutrient which reaches the small intestine is neutral. Therefore, it's greenish in color. Then when it is entering the large intestine, it's becoming more of a what? Acidic. Correct? So our stomach produces HCl during digestion. If you are not eating food on time, the acid which is released in the stomach gets accumulated, and this acid is going to affect the inner lining of the stomach. Acid in any form, dilute or concentrated, is going to burn the skin lining, inner skin lining. Okay, so HCl is going to damage the skin lining of your stomach. That leads to pain and irritation. Okay, and it's called as the acidity in common language. The best remedy to solve is you have any antacid, the gelucin. What is an antacid or the gelucin made up of? It is made up of magnesium hydroxide. The other name is milk of magnesia. Okay, now in our digestive system, different enzymes will work on different pH level. Like salivary glands salivary amylase will work in neutral pH, pancreatic amylase or pancreatic juice will work in basic pH, maltase will work in basic pH, pepsin, trypsin, pepsidase. They all work, sorry, pepsin works in acidic pH, trypsin is basic. Okay, so this is an example that how digestive enzymes work in different pH level, and accordingly the pH of the nutrient is changed by releasing one of the other juices and changing the pH of the nutrient. Tooth decay. If you eat something and you forget to gargle and wash your mouth, then the food particle will remain into the mouth. The actual pH of the tooth should be 5.5. Lower than 5.5, pH will result in demineralization of the teeth. Okay, so tooth enamel is made up of calcium phosphate, the hardest substance in our body. It gets corroded or demineralized, means it will be turned into powdered form. Okay, when pH is in the mouth becomes below 5.5, because the acid is going to work on it and it's going to change its hardness into soft powdery part. The bacteria present in the mouth produces these acids. So if food particles are stuck in your mouth and you forget to clean it properly after every meal, then these bacteria are going to work on these food particles which is present in your mouth and change the pH of the mouth to acid, and that is going to damage them. So to prevent this, you should always keep your mouth clean after eating using toothpaste, which are basic in nature, to clean the teeth, which can neutralize the excess amount of acid present in the tooth and prevent tooth decay. Clear? The next one, self-defense by animals and plants. In a lifetime, you would have come across a honeybee sting you or an ant biting you. And after that, after you remove the honey sting or the bite, you always feel a burning sensation, the irritation and a burning sensation. Why? Because the solution which is left behind by the ant sting or the bee sting is nothing but an acid. Okay, so this bee sting acid which is left behind makes the skin to burn, pain and irritation. And how to solve this, neutralized it, is by using baking soda, because the acid which is released is methanoic acid. Same way, an ant, red ant, really a red ant is very dangerous. The stink of the red ant is very painful, very, very burning sensation. It's a very high burning sensation. Compared to honey sting, the red ant sting is very, very high burning sensation. Again, it's methanoic acid of a different concentration, and how to neutralize it? By using baking soda. There is a plant which gives out this. It's found in the Himalayan areas in India, and it's called as the nettle leaves. Can you see the spine-like structures on the leaf? When you touch these spine-like structure, it releases an acid which will create, first of all, causes a burning sensation, and then it's a very long pain which keeps on lingering on in your hands or parts of the body for a longer time. So the best way to nullify the acidic effect is by using a leaf which is from the top plant leaf, which grows just next to these nettle leaf plants. Okay, so you just pluck these leaves, crush it and apply it on the part wherever you touch, whichever part of the body touch the nettle leaves. Okay, so the pH of the acidic pH can be neutralized in many different real life situations by using a base. Nettle leaf, bee sting, honey bee sting and ant, they all release acids which are being neutralized by baking soda or a base. Same way, the tooth enamel pH is 5.5. It lowers down. So how will you balance it? By toothpaste, which is a base in nature. Correct? Stomach, different parts of the stomach or the digestive tract, different parts have to have different pH level for the enzyme to work on them. Okay, the small intestine is greenish in color because it is neutralized by the HCl which was sent through the small intestine, and the pancreatic and bile juice. They are basic in nature, so the acid and base will combine and neutralize. Okay, so this is the usefulness of pH in real life situations. Hope you understand why pH is important and how it is useful for us to understand the pH of different substances, living organisms, how they use it in their day-to-day activity. Thank you.